Hey everybody, welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I am talking about the new comics that I picked up on March 4th, 2020. For the first time ever, I have read every single comic that I picked up this week. I don't think I've even done this for any of the past weeks, like in all the time since then. I don't think there's any other weeks that I've read every single comic that I picked up. Hopefully this can continue to be a trend moving forward. If I can go and read a few back issues of my unread comics, then I'm finally making progress on reading more than I'm obtaining each week. But anyway, I'm really, really proud of myself for that. And it was a good week for that because I didn't have as many comics as I have been getting each week. But also a lot of them I was either caught up on or their first issues, or they're in pretty good spots where I wasn't too confused what was going on with there. But before I talk about all these books, I think there's 16 books total to talk about here. I did want to mention that I finally watched HBO's Watchmen. This show is incredible. It's so great. I know everybody's been talking about it who has seen it, and I knew it was going to be a really great watch because I had watched the first episode the week that it started, but due to TV subscription factors and all of that, I did not have HBO very much longer than that. I think it was probably that week I stopped having access to HBO. So I just decided to get HBO again in the last couple of weeks, and I am really glad that I did so I could watch this. Although it is coming out on home video fairly soon. I don't know if there's an exact release date yet, but it is popping up on like Best Buy and Amazon and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's really good. I really like the story. It's it's been so long since I've read Watchmen and watched the Zack Snyder film that it's not really all that necessary. All the story that you need to know from the original story is pretty much presented at some point throughout this series. Like, the stuff that you need to know is explained. So I don't think it's necessary to have watched it. It's definitely helps to have read it. It makes it even more enjoyable. But even without it, without the context of it and all of that, it's really, really well made. Great story. The characters that it focuses on, great story arcs for them and all that. And I don't want to spoil anything at all. It is not a remake. So if anybody out there is not familiar with the show, but you love the Watchmen original graphic novel, this is not a remake of that. It is a sequel to it. And it does not factor in Doomsday Clock. So it's like they're parallel sequels to it, kind of. Anyway, I haven't read Doomsday Clock yet. But from what I understand, it goes in a very different direction to be a sequel from that. So anyway, I really recommend it. I am really happy that I watched it. I watched it over 2 nights. I watched it most of it on Tuesday, and then the rest of it's on Thursday of this week. Because I didn't watch any on Wednesday because I went to the wrestling show AEW Dynamite here in town and all of that, so I didn't have a chance to watch any Watchmen that day. But I did skip out on going to see either Emma or Onward last night. I'm recording this on Friday, March 6th, but I was okay with that because Watchmen is so good. It's so good. And I think that also encouraged me, like, oh, I should knock out reading all of these comics that I picked up today. I'm going to read all of them. Even if I'm not caught up on any of them. There's a couple here where I have no idea what's going on. And I'll get to those in a second. But Yeah, go watch The Watchmen. Who watches The Watchmen? Everybody who has good taste in great TV. So anyway, yeah, hopefully I think that pretty much covered it as well as I could without any spoilers about the show at all. Like, the cast is so good. Jeremy Irons, my God. Jeremy Irons is so much fun to watch in this in particular. Like, he's great in everything, but like, he's kind of perfect for the role he is here. He's way better as this than he is like, why was he Alfred? Why was he Alfred in the Batman movies when he's so much he's so perfect for his role? I don't want to spoil who he is. I think everybody probably knows who he is in the show, but anyway. All right, so one trade paperback that I picked up this week. It's not available from Amazon. So it seems that's the case with all these DC young graphic novels for young adults, that they are available to retailers, to actual comic book shops about a week or so before you can buy them on Amazon. So I've just been getting these at my local comic book shop, Hall of Justice Comics, Parker, Colorado. Go check it out. But this week came out the Oracle Code _ There's, well, her cursor is at the end of the title there. It is Barbara Gordon's first mystery herself. Or what does it say? It says, #1 New York Times bestselling author Marieke Nijkamp and artist Manuel Praetano unveil a graphic novel that explores the dark corridors of Barbara Gordon's first mystery herself. So she's like in a rehab facility after getting paralyzed by getting shot, and there's some weird stuff going on. The rehab facility is this big mansion, which seems pretty impractical for having so many kids there in wheelchairs. Like, they have a thing that goes up. This is not important to the story at all. It kind of is, but like, I noticed that right away, right when she gets there, there's a bunch of kids that are recovering from something that they need to be in a wheelchair, whatever the case may be. And it's a mansion, it's a house. It's not a hospital or anything like that. It's a big old house, and there's these big staircases, and there's just they show a kid in a wheelchair that's on like a lift thing that goes up that you roll the wheelchair onto, and it takes it up. It's like, okay, that's good, but they also show a kid's waiting to use it next. So you have to, like, that's got to be such a long process. If they, I guess they maybe have like classes and stuff. It seems like there's a lot of time that they need to use to be waiting to do that. But I mean, I'm sure that's the case in any facilities like that. But you would think if this big old mansion stuff, like, get an elevator installed in there, that would be super useful. You have all this other top, and then Commissioner Gordon, or Barbara's father, is like, oh, this is a state-of-the-art facility. I'm like, no, not quite. They need some elevators. But I guess if they had elevators, it would go down to the to areas that they're not supposed to go to. But that's why you have key cards and stuff like that, to go to the off-limits areas. But then she'd be able to hack into it, and then that would be a whole different part of the plot. But anyway, I thought this story was really good. I recommend it. All right, so here are the regular comics that came out this week in alphabetical order, and also in the order that I read them. First, we have Amalgam, Space Zombie, issue number 4. I am caught up on this book. It feels like forever since the last issue came out. I'm not sure when exactly the last issue did come out. It might have been like 2 months ago or something. But yeah, it was cool to see Amalgama. Like, yeah. She's just fighting her way out of like a spaceship, and there's people chasing after her. There's a big bounty on her head, and all of that because she's a combination of Zombie Tramp, Vamp Blade, and Dollface. They're all mashed together in her, and they're like talking to themselves and all that. And yeah, it's pretty fun. I'm not sure how. It seems there's at least a couple more issues to the story arc with how it leaves off this issue. So yeah, I'm excited to read more of that. Then we have Black Cat, issue number 10. The last issue that I read was issue number 8, and I had skipped a few issues before that, and I also skipped issue number 9 to read this. But the main cover here has, she's teamed up with Wolverine, which I assume started in the previous issue, which I hadn't read. And they're working together because Wolverine has had something stolen from him, and they're tracking it down to try to find it. But she's going, "Snick it, bub," and Wolverine says, "It's snicked," and then she says, "That's what I said. It's your silly Canadian accent." So it's a fun story in this one. I got some special appearances from other people that are more associated with Wolverine than with Black Cats. So that was a fun aspect of it. And yeah, I like this one. I need to go back and read issue number 9 to see the first half of this Wolverine team up. I was thinking, okay, so when I saw Birds of Prey, the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, or Harley Quinn : Birds of Prey, I can't talk. I thought, Harley Quinn is Marvel's. Harley Quinn is DC's Deadpool, as far as like that fourth wall breaking style and all that. And then I get to this, and I realized, Black Cat is Marvel's Harley Quinn, as far as female troublemaker, wisecracking, and all that kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I didn't realize it before. This is the first time I've read Black Cat since seeing Birds of Prey. So that's probably why I made that connection now. Then we have, let's see, Daphne Byrne, number 3, part of Joe Hill Presents Hill House Comics, and also chapter 16 to Sea Dogs. And I already forget what happened in those 2 pages of Sea Dogs, but because I've not read chapter 1 through 15 yet. I do have all of the books. I'm pretty sure I have all of them to be able to do that. But I did skip issue number 2 of Daphne Byrne. I don't remember what happens in chapter 1, but there's some like cult type stuff going on. It was pretty interesting, but I feel a little bit lost jumping in issue number 3 here without being able to remember the issue number 1 and 2. But that's not going to deter me from trying to do this every week, because like if that's just what I do from now on, then I'll be more likely to go back after I read this week's comics. I'm much more likely to go back and read issue number 2 real quick, and like in other cases, some other gaps, like I said, Black Cat number 9, all that. I'm much more likely to do that now. I'm like, I gotta see the rest of this story, what the first half of this was, etc. Then we have another jumping ahead, because the last book that I read was way back in issue number 70 something, and now they're already on issue 750. That's insane. How did they put out so many issues of The Flash in that time? Is that inside or outside the book? There's a little hair. Get out of here. Get out of here. It's on the outside of the book. I opened it up and pawing at it for no reason. There's just a little stray hair on the cover here. But The Flash, issue number 750. This book has 6 great stories in it. The first one continues the main book. Then we have a whole bunch of side stories, and also an epilogue to Flash Forward. So I got kind of spoiled on what happens in Flash Forward there, but I won't spoil that for you. Now I'm more likely to go back. Well, definitely going to get caught up on Flash, like the 4 or 5 issues that I've fallen behind on. But also, Flash Forward is complete. So those 6 issues, I can definitely read those real soon. But there's one story in here with Mirror Master, and it's by it's with the artists from Martian Manhunter. I think it's Riley Ross, maybe. Let's see. I'm gonna look up Martian Manhunter comic. We have, that's the old one. 2018 to 2020. Let's see if this site has all of the artist info. Riley Rossmo. That's his name. I knew it was Riley something. Yeah, as soon as I turned the page to that comic, it's like, oh, that's the guy. That's the guy. He has such a distinct style. I really like all his stuff. So, yeah, pick it up if at least just for that story from here. And then he also did some of the artwork in Superman Villains, which I'll talk about in just a minute. Then we have Harley Quinn number 71. The variant cover is a St. Patrick's Day cover. Next month it's an Easter Bunny themed cover, and last month it was the Valentine's Day cover. So I think this year is all the holidays taking place in there. I don't know what May would have. Would it be a Memorial Day cover? That's not very fun. But maybe it'll have a 4th of July cover, Independence Day cover, my birthday cover for August. That's a good one for August. Labor Day cover, and then Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, of course. August is the month to just celebrate my birthday. That's the holiday for that. But anyway, Harley Quinn 71. This continues the what was it called? The Green Daffodil or something. I don't remember. But there's a green gem that was stolen after one of these characters, their mother passed away, suicide perhaps, or it's been ruled a suicide, but she doesn't think that that's the case, and she's trying to find this green gem that was stolen and all that. And it's continued. The whole thing started with the wrestling business that she's now in from the last issue, and it continues forward with Queen Harleen going after some wrestlers and stuff. So yeah, I'm really liking Harley Quinn right now. Then we have Justice League issue number 42. What did I write down for this? Oh, they're fighting. I have not read Justice League since, I think the last one that I read was issue number 18. So I skipped a whole lot to jump in and read this week's. But they're fighting the Eradicator, who I don't know what the Eradicator's origin is or anything like that. This really looks like Superman, like with a weird costume. But the way that they're fighting him and how they're working together to do it and all that is pretty cool. I like it a lot. So this is going to encourage me to read back to the start of this current arc to see who the heck is this Eradicator guy. Then we have Justice League Odyssey. So this is the book that I enjoyed reading the least out of everything I picked up this week, because I have no idea what's going on in here. The first third of the book is them all talking about using space travel jargon and everything, and it's just confusing to me. But I do like the Green Lantern cat. I forget his name. He's pretty cool. So there you go. That's my review of Justice League Odyssey number 19. The variant cover is pretty cool. It's got a painted style to it, and I don't remember any of these characters' names that are on the cover. I think it's Cyborg there at the beginning, but I don't remember him being in the. Is he part of Justice League Odyssey? I don't remember him being in the story. I don't know. Anyway, then we have Lois Lane number 9. I got both A and B covers for this one. The B cover is really cool. Has her looking at some blood on the ground and making all these connections to stuff on the wall. all kinds of notes and everything, doing the investigative reporter type thing. But the tagline or the title for this issue is Breaking Borders, and we have her trying to track down gather a team in order to fight Kiss of Death. And then she's also looking into helping a friend and her family who have been detained at the Mexico border. So some timely issues in this issue, and things are really building up. This is number 9 of 12, and I think the last issue I read was like issue number 1 or maybe 2 of Lois Lane. So I'm really jumping into the middle of this, and I don't have very much context. But they're this Kiss of Death character. I don't know what they look like. They don't appear in this book. They're just talked about a lot. But yeah, I'm excited to read more of that. Then we have Marauders, issue number 9. In this issue, I think I read issue number 7. But I didn't read the previous issue, so I don't know. I don't know what has led up to Pyro having a submarine containing Yellow Jacket in his bloodstream. I don't know the circumstances that led to that, but it's an interesting situation to be in for this issue, and I did enjoy reading it. It did feel a little bit wacky, just a little bit, but it made sense as I turned each page and understood more what was going on. And then we have the finale of season 1 of The Marked. This is The Marked issue number 5. We have all of the Marked characters going on a raid to Shadowgate in order to stop Liza or however you pronounce her name, because she's gone on a rampage. So yeah, this is a pretty nice conclusion to this part of the story, and I recommend checking out all 5 issues. The trade paperback would come out in May, I believe. If they said that at the end of this issue, sometime in May, that the collection of all 5. So if you missed out on this and you can't track down all the copies of issues 1 through 5, the paperback is coming soon. Of course, you can get all of these. I'm pretty sure everything I've talked about so far is available digitally, like on Comixology or other places. I think it's mainly Comixology. Is that that's the main place you can get stuff, the digital comics, or Marvel, the Marvel Unlimiteds. Can you buy individual issues on there? Do they have the brand new issues on there? I'm not sure. Then we have Strange Adventures number 1. Adam Strange is on a book tour for his memoir, and he's become a suspect in a heinous incident. And so this kicks off this Black Label story. It'll be 12 issues total, and it reminds me so far it reminds me a lot of Heroes in Crisis, yeah, I check it out. I'm not really familiar with Adam Strange, so I don't know if it's how true it is to his other stories and all that, but I am enjoying it so far in this first issue. Then we have Superman Villains number 1. I thought this was going to be like a bunch of separate stories, which it kind of is, but not in the same way that Flash 750 had 6 separate stories. This one just kind of drifted, like is bouncing around between them, and one overall narrative of all these villains reacting to what happens, to Superman revealing his identity, his true identity. That some of the art was very good. There's a bunch of different artists worked on this. Some of the art I did not like very much, and I don't think I read any of the books that person I don't want to call it who it is or which stories it was, but I'm not a fan of that art style, And I'm glad that I don't read any other books with that particular art style, because it seems I don't know, it doesn't seem like it's as skillful as other art, but in comics. I don't know. Moving on. I don't want to dwell on anything that negative at all. Then we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Urban Legends number 22. I skipped a whole bunch to jump in on this issue. We have Leo, newly acquired robot hands. He's having a nightmare about becoming robot like Donnie. Then we have Mikey making out with what is her name? I think it's like Steph or something like that. It's like just a normal name, but she's like a bird lizard creature. I don't know what she is, but they make out at one point in the story. And then Raphael is fighting Kaneko. Is that her name? I wrote it really small. The daughter of Shredder, in order to become leader of the Foot Clan, or at least this chapter of the Foot Clan. So I had no idea what that was going on. That Raphael's, is he a villain, or is he taking over for like noble purposes? I don't know, but you'll have to read to find out what kind of crazy stuff is going on in here. It's really good stuff. It makes me want to go. It encourages me to go back and read all the in between issues, for sure. Then we have Vampironica New Blood. I don't remember if I read issue number 2 yet, but this is issue number 3 of 4. And it's mainly, like, almost the entire issue is all of the history of Vincent and being a vampire pirate or vampirate, and the history of the founding of Riverdale and stuff like that. And we see Veronica and Dilton's reaction to learning about all of this stuff, because we're seeing kind of their imagination as they're doing their research, as it turns out. So that's kind of a spoiler, I guess. But yeah, I really don't remember if I've read issue number 1 and 2 of this yet. I think I may have skipped, or maybe not. Anyway, not important. I did like this issue, and number 4 looks like it's going to be pretty exciting. And then the last book that I picked up this week, and the last book that I read this week so far, is Vengeance of Vampirella, issue number 6. Let's see, what is that word? Oh, she's investigating an overgrown jungle. Like, all kinds of plant life has taken over the coast. And so, lots of crazy stuff happens in this issue. Like, she gets eaten by a plant on like page 3 or 4. Has to fight her way out of that and all that kind of thing. So yeah, some interesting things going on. And I think I was caught up. I think I did read issue number 5, or at least through issue number 4 on here. So I wasn't too lost with what's going on, aside from just not being able to remember. That's the toughest thing, reading month to month, is being able to remember what happened. Pretty much the only comic that I can reliably remember what happens each month, at least once I start reading, is Ghost Spider. Everything else, I like, oh, what did happen at the last time? Seems like there's some missing pieces, maybe. So to a degree, Supergirl, I do remember pretty well month to month. And what's the other one? And Harley Quinn. Now, I only started reading with issue number 68, but Harley Quinn I can remember pretty well because of the wrestling stuff. So anyway, a great set of books that I picked up this week. A whole other mess of books also came out this week, but I can't talk about them because I didn't pick them up and I haven't read them. So, but if there's something brand new that came out that you think is awesome that I should check out, then please let me know. I have been trying to cut back on the number of comics I get each week. I think it was just coincidence that this week was less than I usually get. And if I didn't get the Oracle code, then it would have been like half as much as I normally get price wise. So yeah, I think finally I'm making progress, and I'm so proud of myself for reading this much. I know it's comic books. Oh, big deal! You read comic books. Like, no, this is 16 different books, and one of the books is like a full 200 pages. So I was really happy with myself for doing all that in one day. Actually, how many pages? Let me see. Oh no. Oracle Code is also has a preview of Shadow of the Batgirl, which is I really need to read that because it's about Orphan, Cassandra Cain, Batgirl. But yeah, 198 pages. Almost 200, just shy of 200. But yeah, I'm really happy with myself for having read this much. It's definitely the most I've ever read in a single, not ever. It's the most that I've read in a day, in a long time, in one day. So anyway, let me know what you thought about all of these books and the books that you picked up that I should also check out by tweeting me at TIW Podcast. Go to TIWpodcast.com for more reviews. If you enjoyed this episode or anything else on the site, please share some links with your friends. Subscribe in iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you like to listen. Stay safe out there in all the infinite multiverses, and I'll see you next time here on TIW Podcast. Bye.